Alright, welcome back, and in this video we are going to learn about how to access the individual items in a dictionary. Now it bears mentioning that the values in a dictionary can be any of the data types that you have learned about so far. So we assign the keys, and I am using string as keys here. However, there are several data types that you can use as the keys, and those data types should be what is known as comparable. Any data type that you can compare one value of it with another value to see the difference or similarity can be used as the key. So integers are allowed. You can use floats, you can use strings, and any other data type that is comparable. Okay, so we assign the keys, and then the values can be any data type at all that you know about to exist in Python. So integers, floats, tuples, lists, and it can also contain dictionaries like you are learning about. So I will show you that in another video, and that is going to be called the nested dictionary. Okay, so we want to access individual items from this dictionary. The way to do that is to use the keys that we chose. Okay, so unlike lists and tuples where we access individual items using numeric indices, for the dictionary type we are able to choose the key that we want to use to reference each value in the dictionary. And remember that dictionaries do not support duplication. So if I repeat name, like if I do name and I repeat it down here, and I set this to, let's say, Nigeria, what is actually going to happen is when I look for name, I will get Nigeria because the last key value pair will override one that already came or existed before it. That is what I mean when I say it doesn't support duplications. Okay. All right, so let's say we want to print out the name of this country. Well, the way to do that is I can say country name is equal to country, and then here again we use the square brackets. However, instead of using numeric indices or integer indices, we are going to use the keys that we specified. So I am interested in the name, so I can say country name is equal to country square bracket, and I put in quotes because the key is a string. If it was an integer, you use that integer that refers to the particular value that you are interested in. And so I can print country name, and I believe you agree with me that we could also have done this in one line where we just put country name inside print. So we can just do this inside here and it will be the same, but I just wanted you to know you can retrieve the value, store it in some variable, and use that variable as you deem fit. Okay, so I'm going to save this, and then I can let's improve this print statement by changing it into an f print, and then I will say country name, so country name, and then I'll put this in curly brackets so that the variable substitution will happen using the f string technique. So I'm going to run this program again, and you can see that indeed the country name is Ghana. And the way it is working is because we are using square brackets here, which is how you get access to individual items, but we are using the keys that we defined as the indices to look up the value. Okay, so why don't you try this little exercise where you retrieve the capital, store it, and then use f strings to print it. So pause the video, try it, and then play to see my solution. All right, so I'm going to get the country capital here. So I'll say country capital is equal to country, and I'm interested in the capital. And remember that the keys are also case sensitive, so you cannot mix the case and then expect to receive the value. Okay, and so I'm going to use printf here again, and I'm going to print country capital, and I'm going to put the variable country capital here. So let's save this program and run it again. And you can see that indeed the capital is Accra because in the mapping we said capital is Accra. So a dictionary is a collection of key value pairs where you use keys to map onto values, and if you want to look them up, you use the keys as the indices to look them up or to retrieve the values. So I'm going to let us retrieve the population, and then we can print that also. So I'm saying country population, and then I'm going to copy this key here, paste it here, and I'm going to change this to population, and then I will change the variable substitution to reference country population. Now we go here, run this program again, and we expect to see the population, which is 28 million. Okay, so this is one way of referencing items in a dictionary. Now there is another way, which is actually a method that has been defined on the dictionary data type, and that method is what we are going to learn about. It is called get. Okay, so you can call get on a dictionary and supply an index, and that is also going to retrieve for you. So to do that, I'm just going to get the currency, which is what we haven't obtained already. So I can say country currency is equal to, and then I'll say country dot get, and then you put in the key. So I want the currency. Okay, now let's copy this, and then we can print out the currency to see. So country, and then I'll change this to currency. So I'm going to copy this variable and put it in place of country population, save the file, and we can run it again to see that indeed that is also working. So you can see that to retrieve the currency, we didn't use the square bracket notation. Instead, we called the method get to be able to retrieve it. Now there is a difference between when you use the square bracket notation and the get. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen if we try to use the square notation to retrieve a key that doesn't exist, or a value which has no key existing in the dictionary. So what don't we have here? Let's say we don't have the name of president. Okay, so let's try to print country, and let's try to get president, and let's see what's going to happen here. So I'm going to run this, and you can see that when we try to use the square bracket notation and we try to retrieve a value with a key that doesn't exist in the dictionary, it is going to throw an error saying key error, and it tells you which key it doesn't know. So whenever you see key error, it is telling you that you are using a key to index a dictionary, and that key doesn't exist in the dictionary, so it doesn't know what to do with it, and it is gracious enough to tell you which key it doesn't know about, and that is the cause of the reason why the program is not running. Let's see what happens when we do the same thing with the get. So I'm going to copy this and comment it out, and then I'll come down here, and instead of just doing the square bracket notation, I'm going to say dot get, and I'm going to change the square bracket to normal bracket because this is a function call. Let's save this and let's see what happens for this strategy also. So you can see that when we use the get, it is able to handle situations where the value, the key we are using for the lookup doesn't exist. It returns what is known as none. None is another data type in Python which stands for nothing. Okay, so what we are getting here pretty much means that you looked for president, but there is no president in the country dictionary like we have created. And we can even go a step further. One advantage of the get method is the fact that if the key is not found, it is going to give you none. However, we can go a step further and then supply a value to be substituted when the key is not found. So let's say I know the name of the president of Ghana is Nana Addo because that is where I come from. And so if you are looking for president in the dictionary and it doesn't exist, you can supply a default value to be given. So if I put in an empty string here, which is delimited by just 2 quotes, let's see what is going to happen and how the output is going to be different. So you can see that now if I look for president, initially I got none. Now I'm getting an empty space over here. So that is because I did the work of specifying that when the president key is not found, I want you to return the empty string as the answer. I can go ahead and say Nana Addo. and then I will run this program again. And now you can see that even though the present key didn't exist, because of the use of the get method, we are able to specify what should be returned if that key doesn't exist. So thank you very much for watching this. Let's take a quick break, and I will see you in the next video where we talk about how to check for the presence of a particular key within a dictionary.